morning, everyone. You were supposed to read for homework. You're supposed to read chapter 3 and chapter 4. So we're going to be discussing chapter 3 today. And chapter 3 had to deal with the beginnings of Animal Farm's communism or animalism, where they started working together. They'd overthrown Mr. Jones, and everyone is doing their equal share to get their equal work. So we're just going to do a little small example. So let's say we're in this classroom and we're making a product of some sort. So after we bring in our harvest or product or rewards, everyone gets their payment. So everyone gets 1, right?
Yeah.
Because it's equal. So each of us has one sticky thing, which is just green money product. So we all make the same, no matter, we all work to our best abilities. So let's say now maybe I'm getting a little greedy and I'm kind of in charge, like I was elected in charge, so I'm going to take 1 more.
Okay.
So, and also Rachel, because
cool.
You're also the brains of it, so you get 1 more.
I'm cool.
Do I get 2?
No, you don't. Because we need it more because we have higher brain capacities. We need to be able to keep everything moving along. So we need this to buy more food and better supplies for costs, so we can keep smart, keep fit.
Okay.
So, yeah. So.
Because you're not smart.
Is that okay though, with you if we get more?
As long as you're keeping things good for everyone.
Okay, but I think we might just need just a little bit more.
Yeah.
But you should still be good with that though. That's more than enough.
But Rachel has 3. I only have 1.
That's because I'm smarter than you.
But I'm doing harder work.
No, you're not.
Okay, so
clearly you're not, or you would have 3 green thingies.
So do you guys think this is? Do you think this is fair? Do you like this, Matt?
No, not anymore.
How come?
I only have 1. You guys have 3.
But we're smarter than you are.
But we need it, more.
But I'm working way harder than you guys.
Okay, so is this communism to you? Is how it's supposed to be? On the books?
I thought it was equal, and we're not equal.
We're not. We're working the best of our abilities, but we're not. The wealth isn't distributed evenly. Because I have 3.
I have 1.
Rachel has 3.
I have 1.
Okay, so in Animal Farm, we begin to see. Do you guys know who in the farm I would be, and Rachel who we would be?
Probably the pigs.
Yeah, we'd be the pigs. So and then Matt, do you know who you'd be?
The horse.
Boxer.
Boxer, yeah.
Or what are the other guys? So I made this handout for you guys.
Ooh, handout.
And on it.
Polarization.
We have on one end we have animalism, and then on the other end we have totalitarianism. And does anyone know what totalitarianism is?
Not animalism.
Not animalism.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
No.
Okay, so it's kind of the extreme of communism. It's where, as we predicted the other day, that Animal Farm will most likely be headed since it follows after the Russian Revolution. And this means there's going to be people in power on top, where they use the government to their benefit and everything. So how we're going to, the directions are, use this chart to follow the transition from the original idea of animalism to totalitarianism. As you read the novel, mark specific events from the story on the line to monitor the transition. Okay,
the timeline.
So we're going to start over in animalism, and every time you see something from the book, where it's kind of marking a transition, you're going to make a dash in the line, and you're going to write what happened, why you think, what happened, and then make a dash, and then put the page number 2, and then as we keep going along the novel, we're going to keep this in our notebooks, and we'll keep adding to it until we finally, at the end of the novel, we might be at totalitarianism. So,
cool.
Does anyone know an event from chapter 3 that might go on the timeline already?
From chapter 3, that was the chapter that they all started working together to build. Was that windmill?
No, we're not that far yet.
Sorry.
Do you remember one of the events, something did that may have been what I did?
The apples.
The apples. Okay, so.
And the milk.
That's on page 35. So let's see if I can find the passage. Okay, the mystery of where the milk went to was soon cleared up. It was mixed every day into the pig's mash. The early apples were now ripening, and the grass of the orchard was littered with windfalls. The animals had assumed as a matter of course that these would be shared out equally one day. However, the order went forth that the windfalls were to be collected and brought to the harness room for the use of pigs. At this, some of the other animals murmured, but it was no use. All the pigs were in full agreement on this point, even Snowball and Napoleon. Squealer was sent to make the necessary explanations to the others. Comrades, he cried, you do not imagine. I hope that we pigs are doing this in the spirit of selfishness and privilege. Many of us actually dislike milk and apples. I dislike them myself. Our sole object is taking these things to preserve our health. Milk and apples has been proved by science, comrades, contain substances absolutely necessary to the well-being of a pig. We pigs are brain workers. The whole management and organization of this farm depends on us. Day and night we are watching over your welfare. It is for your sake that we drink the milk and eat these apples. Okay, so what would you put on the timeline towards animalism?
Everyone's equal.
Okay, yeah. So it starts off like you can make a note. Everyone's equal, and then what event did I just read that you could? Like Rachel, you already have it on yours. What'd you put?
I put the pigs get the milk and the apple.
Okay, so and as long as you know what that means, and you can look back at it and just look and see that if you can just look and see that, then and remember that that's one of the events. And you remember, oh, that's when the pigs got all of them and all the other animals did. So and you can mark the page number, whatever. So do you remember any more examples?
How about the part where the pigs get the room to themselves?
Okay, so
the headquarters.
The harness room. So that is.
What page was the apples and pigs?
The apples and pigs is on page 35. And then let's see. The pigs had set aside the harness room as a headquarters for themselves. Here in the evenings, they study blacksmithing, carpentering, and other necessary. So it pretty much goes on, and he's saying that they need the harness room for studying and privacy and quiet, separated from the other animals. So
it's kind of ironic, isn't it?
There you go. Like the animals need a room apart to themselves. So why do you think that's ironic?
I think it's ironic because, well, it was the harness room, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the harnesses and other things like that typically would have been used to keep animals in submission, and they're all about equality, and yet the pigs are using the harness room, which is like a room of power, if you will, to give themselves power.
So maybe it's setting them up already above the animals. So you could put that now also near apples and milk, and then that was page 31. So
harness room, page 31.
So already we're seeing they've separated themselves from the other animals by where they live. The pigs all live in a separate room in the harness room. And also they're getting extra rations. And they're not just the regular rations, they're the rations that the animals were looking forward to the most, that they thought they would all share. So we have one other example in here. Let's see. In the very beginning of the chapter, when it's talking about all the animals are doing their fair share, even the ducks are picking up grains and bringing them over. Everyone's working to the best of their abilities, but then it says, the pigs did not actually work, but directed and supervised the others. With their superior knowledge, it was natural they should assume the leadership.
So it's like assuming they have power just because they're smarter.
So they think they should be the managers of it, not actually do the work. But how, like, if that was so, and you're working the job, and maybe someone that's in charge of you is not doing pretty much, like you don't know they're supposed to be qualified. They're supposed to maybe have the same position as you because that's how the job is set up. But then they don't end up. We're good. You can turn it off.
Okay.
You don't know how to.